Hello, warriors. Welcome to the You Movement. I am B. And a million moons ago, when I was a different version of me, I did do a chakra playlist, and I created 7 intense hour-and-a-half long videos with each of the chakras dealing with the manifestations of disease. I also did a video about the addictions. Like I went through all of the addictions. So that would be located in the Chakra playlist. I do highly recommend you check it out. But today, Spirit has told me that we're going to do some teachings. Yay! A little bit into the chakra system, not in a general, but very specific into the heart. We're going into the heart, people. It's going to be fun. You ready? The reason why that this is coming up is because on the collective, I see a lot of people clearing heart chakra stuff, myself included. I'm tapped in and I'm like, what's going on? Oh, the heart is clearing. The heart is clearing, folks. So I want to talk about the heart chakra. You know, picture yourself like Iron Man with your own little vibrational frequency that's keeping you alive and keeping you going in so many ways. So I'm going to be referring today to some of my notes from the course that I used to teach once upon a time. I created because special interest topic, health and wellness, special interest topic, the chakra system. I lived and breathed the chakra system for a really long time and just kept digging deeper into it. Like, I just love it. I just love it. So I had created a course. So back in 2015, 2016-ish, I used to have my own business as a Reiki master out of my home, and I would treat clients, and I would also teach evening classes. So I taught Reiki, and I taught a course that I created called A Walk Through the Chakra System. And it was pretty interesting. And it was actually multiple courses, and it's something I would like to bring to the internet land. At some stage, I would like to work with somebody maybe that can help me, create a course for all of us. But in the meantime, I'm just going to share some of my knowledge as I do here on YouTube, absolutely free of charge. Unless you want to make a donation, I ain't gonna say no. Which brings me to say thank you. I have 2 shout outs that I want to do. I wanted to do a shout out quickly to Sharon -01I6X. Thank you, Sharon, for the donation. And at Tracy T7605. Thank you very much for the donations, guys. Like, you don't understand how much I appreciate it, because yes, I would like to actually be, earning from what I do. And I've just been in a state of giving it to God and saying, what I need will manifest when I need it. And right now, what I need is to teach you all about the heart. Teach you all about the heart a little bit. And this is only a small fraction. Okay, I'm not going deep dive as much as I normally do, because I want to focus. I want to focus really on what's going on with these heart clearings that we're having in the collective at the present moment, and how it relates to addictions and behaviors that you may find yourself in, and situations emotionally that you're currently processing through. Okay, so let's start. Heart chakra, green. Also, pink, rose is the color here as well. And it is known in its Vedic term as anahata. 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 It even sounds like a breath. Anahata. Which translates to being unstuck. Okay, unstruck, well, unstuck and unstruck. So what is it to be struck? Okay, so when you're in a state of struck, you're and what do? You suck in air and you hold your breath. So I want to picture yourself right now as a 4-year-old kid, and you just got in trouble at school, and your teacher is yelling at you, and what do? You go, and you hold your breath. and you withstand the rage that's coming your way, and then you're like, you get out and you go, oh, oh man, that scared me. I didn't know, and that could be the same with parents, this, that, the other. So basically, the root of the word means that you're not in this state. Instead, you're in a state of flow, which is because our heart chakra, the element that is associated, so each chakra has an element. Did you know that? But the heart chakra's element is the element of air. Okay, so heart chakra is all about the lungs, everything that's in this area here. Okay, and when in balance, see, we've got a balancing, we've got an in-out that's happening. When in balance, the life lesson that comes through is the lesson of love, forgiveness, compassion. Oh, to have an open heart where you can go out into the world and feel nothing but love, compassion, and forgiveness. And this is a journey. It's a journey. It's not going to happen overnight. I'm never going to bash somebody over the head with anything like, you need to forgive now. No, forgiveness is a process, but forgiveness is actually an end result of doing the healing work. When you do the healing work and show yourself love and forgiveness, go to create on the outer. We go in to create on the outer love. I love myself, and therefore I can love others better. I am compassionate to myself, and therefore I can be compassionate to others. So this is the processes of the heart chakra. It takes in and it takes out. Oh, just like the breath. We take in, I love myself. I love you too. I am forgiving to myself. I can be forgiving to you too. So we have to take in before we can let go, before we release. So each of the chakras also has a fundamental right to it. God-given right, universal right. This isn't going to be listed in your Constitution, though it should be. These should be absolutely listed in every world. The Constitution of the world states there are 7 fundamental human rights. Yes, the 4th human right is the right to love and the right to be loved. Again, so it's in and out. I'm going to love on myself, and I'm going to love into the world. If you're not loving on yourself, if there's elements of self-loathing, self-hating, self-deprecation, all these types of energies, then you can't give out what you don't have, right? So that's why that phrase, oh, you have to learn to love yourself first, is actually a hard-hitting truth. One that most of us don't want to hear, because we're like, well, I should just be loved. And you're right. Your very existence means that you should, and you have a right to be loved, right? So it's not about earning love, but it's about getting into the frequency of love so that when you love yourself so much, oh my God, I love myself, then you're not willing to tolerate anything that's not love. You're like, wait a second, I deserve better than that. Oh, I don't like the silence. Thanks, goodbye. Oh, toxicity, run for my life. Right? So we take in and we understand I deserve to be treated with love because I've learned how to love myself, right? I've learned what my value is. That value is a little bit more down here, but I learn what I'm deserving of, and I am deserving in love. So if I'm not receiving love, then I need to look at within and go, okay, where am I not receiving my own love? That I am willing to tolerate this bullshit. Okay, I need to work on this. And so that's where the clearing, the healing of the heart begins. Now, there is a symbolic connection of every chakra. And the symbolic connection here is letting go and letting God. Ooh, there's a lot of letting. No letting, please. No bloodletting. But there is letting go and letting God, because we are releasing our need to control, We are receiving divine intervention and divine ways. Okay, so this is also us letting go of our need to know, because when we let go of our will is located down here. I need to control. I need to, like, it must be my way. Everything, people must show up in my way. I need to control the universe. Doot, 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 doot. Micromanagement. When we let go of all the micromanagement, we also let go of the need to know. Okay, so our will says, I'm going to circumvent this heart space, and I'm going to go up into my knowing space, my mind, and I'm going to control everything. So we're circumventing our heart. But when we go through our hearts, when our heart is open, when our heart is fully open and activated, we are more able to follow our heart. So it's like God directly puts messages into our heart, and our heart and mind have a little bit of a debate, and then eventually the heart goes, no, I'm gonna lead, I'm gonna follow my heart, I'm gonna follow my dreams, I'm gonna follow. Okay, so this is trusting God, because what God puts in your heart is the direct communication into your heart. God is not talking to your mind. God is not sitting down and going, okay, B, I've looked at the analysis and I've decided that, X equals Y equals B, and therefore it's my opinion that you should do this. That's not how God talks to you. God talks to you by putting an inspiration into your heart, and you're like, oh, I feel so impassioned. I need to sit down and do a video today. There's not a lot of communication that's happening between you and spirit in regards to, like, the reasons why. That's above your pay grade. So when we get more into our heart, more into our faith, and more into our trusting that our heart's impulses are not leading us in squirrely ways, they're actually leading us in alignment with the divine, then we can follow our heart, and we can trust that I don't need to know. I don't need to know it. I just can, like, feel it. I can just sit and put my hands on my heart and just resonate with it. And, like, what am I inspired to do today? Oh, I'm inspired to talk about the heart. Okay, so sitting and connecting with our heart space is a really good thing. There's an institution called the Heart Math Institute, and they do a lot of stuff, meditations that maybe you want to check out, which is like getting coherence between the mind and the heart. You can put one hand here and one hand here, and you're like, I'm gonna do my meditation like that, because I'm trying to get these two to work in alignment with each other, and not let my mind run out. And I need to know why, and I need to know the plan and what's going on. So mental school, dropping into our heart space, is going to help us navigate through the world, especially with all these shifts and changes that are happening. It's almost like God himself, the universe, is saying to us now, drop into your hearts. Like, I can hear it. Like, it's like a very big instruction. That's why I'm doing today's video. So the sacred symbol that goes with the heart chakra is that of the cross. And the cross is because as above, so below, divine masculine, other way around, divine masculine, divine feminine meeting in together. So, like, our inner union with our masculine self and our feminine self. And I find it amazing, because as I've been on this twin flame journey, which I don't like the name of, but there we go, we move on. As I've been on this, there have been times on my journey where I've been really in my masculine energy. I even was wearing masculine clothes. I stopped shaving. I was like, I'm just going to be in my masculine fully. And then there's also been times that I've been really in my feminine, and it's but merging those two together in this heart space and loving on myself exactly as I am, in my feminine, in my masculine, coming together, divine union within. divine union within. It's so beautiful because once you have a feminine energy that can nurture and love and be kind and compassionate to yourself, and you also have the masculine. So here's our cross. We're shaped like a cross, okay? And the very core of it, the very center of it, is this sacred heart. Okay, is our sacred heart. And that's why the sacred heart is depicted on all spiritual texts of just this glowing heart. Well, I want this glowing heart, absolutely. So we come together and the masculine's like, I'm going to create structures and containers to allow my feminine to feel safe. And I'm going to move us in places where that occurs. And I'm going to make decisions, says the masculine. And the feminine goes, thank you, I can relax now. I can be vulnerable now. Oh, I can be me now. So that feminine and masculine coming together is amazing. Also, as above, so below, we need to connect the divine in with the root. So we are grounded. We're not just away with the fairies and like, God is good. I love life. Everything's wonderful. We're like grounded in some reality here on earth. Yes, we are spiritual beings, but we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And the human experience is the 3D experience that keeps us grounded and connected to the earth. And what happens, all my art people out there, when you take red from the root chakra, so color theory coming up, red, and you take white from the crown, and you blend them together, you get pink, you get rose, you get a beautiful color. And so, oh, wait a second, a divine rose. That's a kind of holy element symbol, isn't it? So yes, as above, so below, and as balance. You know, even my very logo is about balancing the masculine, the feminine, the yin yang energies, the shadow and light. So shadow and light all coming together into our heart space. So yes, and now I'm going to move into the sense, okay? The sense. And all of this background is leading to where I'm going to be going as I channel some information for you. So the sense that's associated with the heart chakra is touch. It's touch. It's touch, and touch is so important. And when we haven't been touched, okay, when we haven't received the touch. So you guys know my background, lots of trauma, understanding trauma, researching trauma. And if we look back to when we were just little, and I did a video yesterday, and it was a lot of these things touched on similar, and I highly recommend that you go watch yesterday's video because it ties into this one, if you didn't already, on Mission 1, Quit Sugar. But this ties into it. This is like an extension of it even more. Imagine as a baby, what's the first thing that happens? You're touched. You're touched. You're touched. But what happens when you're one of those parents that doesn't follow their own intuitive voice, and some doctor comes along and tells them to put their baby into a cot in another room? I never understood that, because, you know, if you look at traditional parenting of tribal knowledge, okay, then you have people sleeping with their infants in their little hammocks or in their little nests that they made within teepees, or, you know, whatever it is. You're right there. You know, you're swaddled on to the mother. You're experiencing touch. And then North American culture comes along. Well, it's not just North American. It's like the Western civilization comes along and says, oh dear, I don't want to touch that little one. No. Put it into the little area for the children. Get the nanny. Somebody call a wet nurse. Man, I don't want to touch them. Oh. Like, so we were deprived of touch for hundreds of years. It's been embedded into our psyche that, like, children are meant to be seen and not heard, and therefore also not touched. right? So many were reliant upon a wet nurse or a nanny to provide them with that comfort or care, because the parents themselves, oh dear, I've got better things to do. I need to learn the piano. I need to learn Latin. Take that child that's just come out of me and send it away. So when you're deprived of touch and you're left to cry, so heart chakra, your lungs going as a young baby, you get traumatized in the heart chakra. And there's an energetic disruption that causes a massive problem. And then what ends up happening is when a little baby, an infant, is left to cry in a cot, its arms are flailing. Its arms are flailing because it's desperately trying to grasp on. Like, think of little baby gorillas. Grasped on to mama. Okay, grasped onto mama. That's where it's safe. And so our instinctual knowledge is grasping. And then what happens is the baby exhausts himself from like crying, and all their little muscles in their back get achy and sore, all around the word just flew out, shoulder blades, all around the shoulder blades, all those muscles in there eventually just give out, and then the baby goes like this. Okay, and that's when a whole bunch of babies had cot death, and a whole bunch of babies in orphanages just die. They just die. They're just like, I give up. Nobody's touching me. I'm giving up. And they have done this. There are actual studies that show that children that have babies that have not been touched, physically touched, have a much higher infant mortality rate than babies that are touched. So not getting touched is a childhood wound. And that doesn't just mean when you're a baby. That continues on, like touching until your teens. You should be touching your children. You should be touching them. You should be sleeping with them. You come home from hospital, here you are, right in nestled to me. I can see you, I can sleep with you. So the family bed was the traditional way in which children were raised. And it's something that we really actually need to re-implement. So if you're a young parent and you have some babies, bring your babies into bed with you. You can get these amazing little cot things that like attach to your mattress and go underneath. So you just literally have to roll over and scoop them up and bring them in with you when you're hungry, which is the best way to be feeding them anyways. Is from the heart space. God gave us this beautiful breasts to be able to feed our young, to give them the nurturance, the love, the compassion, and everything, and the touch, the physical touch, the physical warmth. I don't know, would you rather be nestled into a nice warm breast, or would you rather get a plastic bottle? I don't know about you, but I think I would have rather been nestled into a nice warm bosom. And so there's grasping and holding, right? This we need to think about in regards to the energy that we grow up in, okay? So that how that manifests in our lives in addictions, because we're grasping, we're holding. Freud was obsessed with like oral fixations as well as hand, tactile fixations. What are we trying to grasp onto? What are you grasping onto right here, right now? Because in this awakening, God themselves is going to peel your hardened fingers open so that you can let go of the things that you are clutching onto. And we're going to get to those things a little bit more. So when we are in a constant state of grasping and we've got a depletion in our heart center, we develop over time. So this is how it works. This is how trauma works, is a traumatic situation comes in. That's an energy, okay? So an energy comes in. It penetrates through all the spiritual layers, the etheric layer, the mental realm, the emotional realm, and it lands into our body. Our body holds on to it. And if we didn't have a safe person that was willing to hold us and rock us and touch us and tell us, hey, it's okay. It's okay. Oh, sweetheart, did somebody bully you at school today? Oh, come here. Come here. I'm going to make you it all better. It's okay. Of course you're upset. I'd be upset too. I understand. So I'm going to hold you. I'm going to comfort you. And then that child has at least the opportunity to like feel safe again, for their nervous system to regulate again, for them to like feel like, okay, the world's not such a bad place because I have a soft place to land when I get home. So even though I have bad experiences in my home, I have good experiences. I have warm, nurturing, compassionate, empathetic experiences. And so then that child goes, oh, I can let go of that trauma. I don't need to hold on to it. But if you go out and you have trauma outside of your home, or even worse, you have trauma inside of your home, and you have no safe person to cultivate a compassionate bubble for you, like your mother is the one that's raging at you, and then you become struck. Then where do you go to release what you've just brought in? You're stuck. Okay, you're struck and you're stuck. And so that you take in and you shove down because you're like, I don't have a safe place to communicate about this. I don't have a safe place to feel touched, nurtured, held, rocked. I don't have a safe place. So I'm going to shove that down. I'm going to swallow it down. I'm going to breathe it down. I'm going to hold my breath. I'm going to breathe, start breathing really shallow. So my depth of breath becomes, because you can breathe into a diaphragm when you're healthy and relaxed, but when you're not healthy or relaxed, you're breathing up here. So we go through life like this going, oh my God, the world's not safe. I'm not safe. I have nowhere or no one to hold me and comfort me and tell me that I'm better and hold me. So now I'm going to like grasp onto things, whatever I can to help me, because, you know, I'm a little lightheaded with the lack of oxygen that I'm receiving. And so I'm going to like grasp on to hold on, because like, oh my God, it's like on a subway and it's going like this. What do? You grab onto the hold, you grab onto the railing. You're like trying to steady yourself with all the fluctuating energies that are coming, and you're like, and then anxiety is starting to come and become overwhelming. And then we're having panic attacks. Okay. So if you're experiencing emotionally at the present moment in time, anxiety, panic attacks, everything going on in the heart space, we need to learn a lot of things to start healing, get that breath deeper, get that breath deeper into us. So practicing a lot of breath work, long, slow breath work, not any fast, none of those, no DMT. I want to have more going on up here. No DMT breath work. Let's bring it down, bring it slow down the breath. Slow down the breath. There's multiple different breath techniques that you can utilize to help bring that energy down. And what we're doing is we're getting the air down deep inside. So we're allowing those trapped energies to come up and be able to like release again. So I did a video, as I said, many moons ago, as I was a different version of myself back then, in the Chakra playlist, called all about the physical manifestations of disease. Because if you do not, and when I say disease, I meant disease as well as dis-ease. Because if you're in dis-ease, you're going to develop disease. So all the heart chakra diseases or manifestations of dis-ease, I talk in depth in that video. Please go check it out. I will probably link it at the end of this one to make it easier for you. But I want to talk more about that grasping, okay? Grasping. So the addictions that are associated with the heart chakra are tobacco. Oh, funny that I became a smoker at the age of 15 and like doubled down to that, because what is it I'm doing? I'm sucking it in and putting it in, and I'm emotionally swaddling myself with hot, smoky energy. So that baby that got swaddled once upon a time, oh yeah, that feels good. Swaddle, swaddle, swaddle. So that's what's happening is you're poisoning your inner child is what's happening. But it's because your inner child is so desperate to be held and to be warm and to be swaddled and to be comforted and to be cared for. And, it was hard to find a surrogate mother. So it was. And so instead, we find ways in our teenage years to cope and our adult years as well. So tobacco, smoking, vaping as well. Vaping is very not good for you. Okay, I understand why people do it. And maybe, vapes were originally invented to help smokers get off of cigarettes. They weren't invented to start a whole new addiction. Okay, it was supposed to be move you from one into none is what they were supposed to be. But unfortunately, it's appealed to all the youngins because they've got all these fancy flavors and this, that, and the other, and you can do it inside, and it's just a vape. It's not like it's smoking. You're still inhaling chemical instead of inhaling air. So, there are links now to this thing called popcorn lung, which doesn't sound very good to me. So if you've got a smoking or a vaping problem, you have a heart chakra wound. Okay? And when we start to love on ourselves and heal ourselves and clear out the gunk that is located in our heart chakra, including all the gunk that we've been inhaling in through our cigarettes and our vape, then we begin to clear this energy and we can learn better coping mechanisms to deal with a heart chakra that needs some healing. Okay? Other addictions, and I just did a video on this yesterday or the day before, whenever it was, as I said, is sugar. Okay? So sugar is it represents sweetness. Okay? So we have sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and spicy. I forgot spicy in my video yesterday. But those are for tastes, okay? So the sensory system of taste. And so this, when we taste sugar and swallow sugar, and sugar just doesn't come as in granule sugar. I am talking about sugar. I'm talking about carbohydrates. I'm talking about all that high fruit fructose. I'm talking about honey, maple syrup. Now, yes, some of these things have health benefits like honey, but if you're consuming it in gross amounts, that's going to be too much of an imbalance. So if you're constantly seeking sweets, and that even means, again, just like the vape, there are these alternative sugars, and people think, well, it's low, it's diet. There's no sugar in it. It's aspartame. Then I'm like, oh my God, you've just replaced one with another, but you're still seeking and grasping for sugar. And please don't be consuming aspartame. Please go research that if you don't believe me. Okay? It's just because something says 0 calories doesn't mean it's all of a sudden healthy. If you do want healthy alternatives for sugar, you've got monk fruit, you've got xylitol, you've got erythritol, and you've got stevia. But even those should be a stepping place to get you to eat less sugar, less sweet. It's the craving, it's the grasping for sweet that says, I have healing work to do. We don't naturally need sweets. If you think about a hunter-gatherer's diet a million years ago, or whenever they were walking the plains around the world, they weren't craving sugar. Their taste buds didn't even know sugar. They would know the sweetness of fruits that they found on their walk, and that would be a luxury. It wasn't like they were setting up camp next to the banana tree. They would continue on and they would live off of healthy fats and healthy proteins and other things, as well as some things located in the and that's what we were born, we were created to eat. We weren't created to eat granola bars. and things in packages and heat up in microwaves. We weren't designed to be eating sweets. It's only in our mind's eye that we think, oh, I should have a dessert every day. What? Why? It's making you sick. It's feeding that absence, that void inside of you that's like, I need energy. I need energy. So I'm going to get a quick hit, a quick fix from this sugar. Woo! I feel better. I feel energized. I feel that. And then that's not balanced to go from high energy to low energy. We want to have consistent energy. So watch the video if your addiction is sugar in eating comfort food. Swallowing down all the pain, all the bitterness, all the upset, all the emotions that I don't want to feel. Okay, so the next addiction that I want to talk about in the heart, it is the love addiction. Oh man. I got to take ownership. I got to take ownership in all of these things. You know, I'm not saying that I'm perfect. I'm saying I'm a work in progress, and my heart space has required so much healing on this awakening journey. Oh my God, between the root and the heart, I've been like, lots of heart clenching, lots of grief coming up. And I'll talk more about grief in a little bit, but the love addiction. So on my awakening, I have literally lost everyone. All my people that I was grasping onto and holding on to, best friends, improv groups, more friends, family, relationships, marriage. You know, when I was in that marriage that I was being abused in, my brain, so addled, was like, well, at least I'm not alone. I would rather tolerate this raging. I would rather tolerate this financial abuse. I would rather tolerate this. Like, my brain was so addled, so wounded. I was acting from such a wounded place within me because of my history of being adopted at the age of 2. You know, losing the love, losing the touch, losing the connection, and then being raised by a woman who was constantly raging at me. So there was so much wounding in here that once I grabbed hold of somebody, I never wanted to let them go. I'll tolerate anything. Oh, we're not going to talk only once every 6 months, and you're going to ignore me the rest of the time. Oh, you're going to only send me a birthday message. You're not going to send me anything, but I'm still going to think you're like family. I'm never going to talk to you for decades. But in my mind, I'm like, they're my family. That's how family treat you, isn't it? To be completely ignored for decades? Isn't that what family is? Oh, relationship isn't like tolerating this and people pleasing that and fawning over this. Isn't it better because I don't want the result of being alone? Oh my God, being alone, I'm going to die. Okay? My consciousness, my inner child wounds told me if I am alone, I am going to die. I'm going to die because as a 2-year-old, I would have. Okay, as a 2-year-old, when I was abandoned and ripped away from my family, if I had like not had people to take care of me and feed me and put a roof over my head, I couldn't get a job. And throughout my childhood, I spent like more time than I can count in my garage going, where am I going to go? Nobody's going to rent me an apartment. There's snowbanks out there that are like 8 foot high. I'm going to die. I'm going to die if I don't tolerate this abuse. So I learned the programming that love meant being abused. Love meant being hurt. Love meant tolerating intolerable situations. So that grasping energy of I'm going to hold on to these friends that don't really show up for me. I'm going to hold on to these people that betray me. I'm going to hold on to this person that's gaslighting me. I'm going to hold on to this person that's giving me the silent treatment and stonewalling me. I'm going to hold on to this person that like makes fun of me and is sarcastic. I'm going to hold on to this person that is hurting me routinely. because the idea of being alone meant death. And then along comes an awakening, and as I said, one after another, no, those fingers are going to be pried off of what you are grasping onto so that you can sit in the aloneness, so that you can learn you won't die. But did you die? No, actually, I'm still here. You can learn that being on your own and reparenting yourself and doing the healing work is what's going to help clear out the heart so that you can be divinely connected. And this is what happens is when all the people, so all these people, it's like a church with all the people that are like in front of you that you're holding on to, you're grasping, one after another, they disappear. Okay. There, and then you've got like no people. And then what are you left with? You're left with an empty heart space. And when that heart space is empty and open, it means you can finally receive God's blessings. You can receive and be in relationship with God. It becomes a union with spirit. But these had to get out of the way. You had to lose them. You had to lose them. Those dysfunctional, those toxic, those abusive, those grasping, codependent, love-addicted relationships that you were holding on to because you feared loneliness was going to kill you. God said, I'm clearing this away. I'm clearing them away so that you can be left with God. That's it. Other than my cat, it's me and God hanging out on a day-to-day basis, talking with spirit, communing with spirit, getting to know spirit. And in this process of clearing all of these people away, the grief that you will experience is astronomical. Okay? I cried for 4 solid years every single day. I don't cry every single day anymore. In fact, I cry very rarely. And when I do cry, it lasts about a minute or two. And then I'm like, oh, I'm okay. That was pretty easy. But for 4 solid years, I cried every single day because every time I lost another one. Okay, so first I lost the smoking. So that was keeping all of this under wraps. Then I lost the sugar. So that was keeping all of this under wraps. It started to bubble up. And then I lost my best friend. And then I lost my mother. And then I lost my husband. And then I lost my friends. And then I lost more friends and more friends and family and everyone. And then all of a sudden I'm like all by myself, just me and my cat chilling out. And oh my God, the grief. Okay, so that's 4 years of losing people and a lot of grief. And so what do? You surrender to it. You give yourself what your heart chakra needs. You touch yourself. You comfort yourself. You soothe yourself. That inner child that had that abandonment wound from being adopted, or even an abandonment wound from not getting what you deserved. Okay, so abandonment doesn't need to be as like crazy as mine, where you actually are physically moved and dropped off somewhere and you're like, hey, wait a second. Where are my people? Where's my people gone? Who are you? You're my people now? Oh, I'm supposed to call you mom, or if I don't, I get hit and raged at it. Okay, so when we don't get what we receive, which is that infant love, were you breastfed or were you bottle fed? Were you left in a cot to cry, or were you brought into the family bed? Did your mother like hold you when you skinned your knee and tell you that it was going to be all right? And did you grow up in a household where there was a lot of hugging? Did you grow up in a household where you were like, yes, it's okay, little girl, I love you? Or did you grow up in an absence of those energies? If you grew up in an absence of those energies, then there's an aspect of you that has been abandoned. And that abandoned child archetype needs to be unabandoned. That means stop abandoning yourself on this awakening process. Stop abandoning ourselves. And we stop abandoning ourselves by we start to realize, hey, wait a second, I deserve better. I want a divorce. I deserve better. I quit. I deserve better. I'm leaving. I'm moving. I'm this. I'm that. I'm making decisions based on my heart. My heart is saying it's time to go. It's time to go. And so I'm going to follow my heart. Do I know what's on the other side of my move next week? Nope. 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 But I'm going to follow my heart. My heart is leading me there, and I'm listening because I am open now, because I am open to receive divine guidance. There's nothing blocking me. There's no more smoke. My poor heart can actually see now. There's no more sugar that's causing inflammation all around the heart. There's no more love grasping onto anyone. No. When we stop grasping, we can open our hands and start receiving. So I'm ready to receive new with trepidation and watching and discernment. I'm ready to receive new, to see what allow love to come to me. And I have allowed love to come to me in safe ways through, meeting new people that I've met around the world through social media, which is fabulous. So I have a whole new community. So I'm in union now with Soul Tribe and meeting people that understand me and resonate with me and, accept me for me. I accept me for me and they accept me for me because I am like this. I am not grasping. If your hands are closed and holding on to cigarettes and holding on to a chocolate bar, then how is God supposed to fill your hands with love? Okay. I do want to add into this in regards to the addictions that marijuana is also, yes, a heart centra addiction. And yes, marijuana is an excellent medicine. I used it myself. However, a medicine doesn't mean a life sentence, okay? Medicine means it's going to help me get through what I need to process through until I no longer need it and all I can use is air and God and spirit and I'm good. So if marijuana is your addiction, I'm giving you a little bit of leeway that says, okay, if you're using it to help you cope with your anxiety and your PTSD and your trauma, understand that eventually you might want to consider weaning down, perhaps getting off the smoking, instead maybe using oils, and so that you're not inhaling smoke. Okay, so, and then we slowly wean ourselves into health and vitality that doesn't require anything. What we need to survive is water, oxygen, and food and shelter. Okay? Yes, medicines help cultivate safety and cultivate healing in the body, and use them until you need them, but don't stand staunch in, because I've had people attack me in the past, don't stand staunch in the attitude that like marijuana is good for you and I'm going to use it until I'm 95. Okay, then you're grasping onto something. Okay, it's no skin off my nose, but you, if you're grasping onto something, aren't receiving what God wants to give you. So use what you need to use until it's no longer working for you. And when it's no longer working for you, you'll know. Maybe you'll develop sleep apnea. Maybe you'll develop like popcorn lung. Maybe you'll develop a bronchial infection. Maybe you'll develop, pneumonia. And then you're going to be like, oh, I need this for my pneumonia. No, that doesn't make any sense. Then you would switch to drops and go, I got to stop inhaling stuff because it's not working for me anymore. I've now developed a problem. So addictions are coping mechanisms that work until they stop working. And then they develop contraindicated manifestations of disease. So I wanted to go on that. So there are like all the addictions that are associated with heart chakra. And I want to give a little bit of background information here, because the developmental stage, I've talked a lot about trauma, the developmental stage between the ages of 4 and 7, so a child between the ages of 4 and 7, I want you to think back to when you were between the ages of 4 and 7. Okay, this is when we form peer and family relationships. We're starting to cultivate relationship for the first time, like real understanding of relationship. And so if there was trauma in this time frame, and relationship was difficult, you know, your family structure wasn't a safe place for whatever reason, or you're off to the playground, your first years of school were traumatizing because of bullying and you didn't fit in and you were socially awkward, this, that, and the other, then all of those traumas could be the root cause for why you're insisting on having a cigarette now. So when we do the healing work and the inner child work and start dig into the muck to unfuck, then we can start addressing what did that 4 or 7-year-old need then that they didn't receive, and what can I give myself now to give them what they needed, right? Because there's also, with the chakra system, there's, you know, the developmental stages. So this is child developmental stages, but there is also life cycle stages. And the life cycle of the heart chakra is between the age of 22 and 28, when we're finally going out into the world and we're like ourselves. We're like, now we're interpersonal, you know, we've flown the coop, we're interpersonal. It also repeats at age 71 to 77, just so you know. And so in this life cycle phase, look back and ask yourself, do some more interior work. Well, what was my life like between the 20s and 28? Well, geez, mine between 22 and 28, I went through divorce. I dropped out of university. I ran away to Japan and taught English for a while. And I had another relationship breakdown. So 2 relationship breakdowns in this time when we are learning to have relationship is supposed to be getting grounded. The lessons we learned from 4 to 7 are now playing out in the bigger world, as in the adult world, and we're having interpersonal relationships. So how did your 20s go for you, your young 20s? Because at this point, we should have well developed a social identity where we accept ourselves who we are. This is who I am. I'm following my heart. I want to do this university course. I want to do that. I accept myself for who I am, and I accept, therefore, others for who they are. But if you were raised by a narcissist, then you don't have any level of self-acceptance because you weren't allowed to be you. You had to be who they wanted you to be. Maybe they wanted you to be the scapegoat. Maybe they needed you to be the black sheep. Maybe they needed you to be the invisible child. Maybe they needed you to be the golden child. So if you're any of those roles, none of those are you. So how are you supposed to have a social identity of self-acceptance and interact with other people when you were never allowed to be yourself? See how they all interconnect? One thing connects to the next thing, to the next, to the next thing. So the primary fears I want to talk about, because, you know, every addiction is like rooted in fear. And where I already talked about, I had a fear of dying. If I didn't have people, I thought that I would be dead. You know, I thought I would freeze to death in a snowbank. Was it the rational fear that I'm afraid of, like, being destitute and freezing in a snowbank? And the fact that this winter is the snowiest winter on time, and I went through a stage where it lost power, I was like, oh my God, God's really making me sit in my fear tonight. You know, we get poked and prodded in different ways so that we can sit in the original fears that we had way back when, between the ages of 4 and 7, or whenever, because it could be infantile that you were having, you know, some of these wounds. And so that we're like, okay, if you can feel the fear, face the fear, and get through the fear through breath, through self-assurance, through self-swaddling, you know, wrap yourself up in something warm if you need to. If we can get through the fear, we're transmuting it, we're clearing it. But I want to talk about the fears, okay? So some of the fears associated with the heart chakra are fears of loneliness, commitment, following one's heart. fear of following your heart. Oh my God, I could never like stand out in society and do a YouTube channel. People are going to laugh at me, make fun of me. Yeah, know all about that. Maybe your fear is to quit your job as a CEO and become like a ballet teacher for 2-year-olds, right? Your heart's like, this is what I want to do. But your social conditioning is like, you're a top ranking doctor. What do you mean you're going to quit and then, do art therapy? It's what my heart wants to do, right? So there can be a lot of fear in regards to following your heart. Fear of inability to protect oneself emotionally. So that's where we have to cultivate our inner masculine. It's like, no, I'm not going to tolerate that. I'm going to my emotions are valid. My feelings are fair and reasonable. And so therefore, the fact that you're negating them says to me, no, we can't do this anymore. This relationship is intolerable. We're out. So our inner masculine has to come in to be a protector, to swaddle around the feminine energy. Fear of emotional weakness. Are you afraid of your own emotions? I certainly was. It wasn't safe to have emotions. And I certainly didn't want people to think of me as weak or think of me as crazy. Oh, I had a lot of fear of being crazy because I'm weird. I'm neurodivergent. I'm autistic. I'm spiritual. I do weird stuff. I have weird gifts. I don't want to do like some of the healing work that I do on camera. I'm very scared to do that, but I know eventually it's going to come around and I'm going to do that for people more and more. That's what I'm called to do. 5555, the clock just said. Interesting. Am I afraid that people are going to hurt me? Am I afraid of betrayal? Oh, damn straight. Yeah, these are real fears, but I'm not going to let these fears control me. I'm going to feel the fear. I'm going to sit in the fear. I'm going to face the fear, and I'm going to breathe through the fear, and I'm going to do it anyways. So if somebody shows up into my life and I'm like, oh, this is new. I've never experienced this before. I'm not going to run away. I'm going to go, okay, I'm going to need to go slow. And I'm going to need to take my time because I have a lot of fears. You have to understand where I've been from, where I've come from. And so I'm going to show myself some compassion and some understanding, because if anybody shows up love bombing, I'm going to be like, hard no, I'm out. But if somebody shows up slow and steady, slow and steady, slow and steady, I'm going to be like, oh, okay, I can get used to it. So it takes a little bit of time for us to process through our fears. Loss of fourth chakra energy may give rise to feelings like jealousy, bitterness, anger, hatred, and an inability to forgive oneself and others. So all of those emotions, none of them are bad, none of them are wrong. It just means we've got a lot of emotional warehouse stored up stuff that needs to come out and be expressed. Express your hatred in a safe container. Maybe you want an appointment with me so you can have somebody who's not going to judge you when you say, I fucking hate them. I'm looking at, yeah. Yeah. You need to be able to release it. You need to be able to say it without shame, without blame, without guilt, without anything. Being able to express and release the grief, the rage, the hatred, it's got to come out. It's been stored in you for a really long time. Do you want to carry that with you forever? No, you don't need to carry it with you forever. There's nothing wrong with it, but when it's in you and not being released, there's something wrong, because that causes blockages. And when you have blockages, that causes eventually disease. And so if I want to take care of my physical form, I'm going to detoxify it. Not just physically, but I'm going to detoxify it emotionally. And how do I detoxify it? Oh, by having my emotions. By letting myself fully emote. By letting myself find ways to release rage. If you need rage work and you need help with that, you book a one-on-one with me and we'll talk about your rage. If you need grief work and you need help releasing your grief, well, I'm going to suggest that you cry. And then you cry. And then you keep crying, you keep crying. And eventually, all the puddle, the giant swimming pool of tears that resides deep in your belly, underneath your belly button, eventually you cry all those tears out. And then you get down to the bottom of the swimming pool and you have to like dig out the muck. It's like your emotions are a swimming pool that's been left unattended for 10 years. There's a couple dead rats floating on the surface. There's leaves and debris that have fallen to the bottom, and there's all this mucky water. So you got to cry it out. Cry, 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 cry. You got to feel miserable. You got to be depressed. You got to feel like shit. It's going to just be horrible. It's not going to be nice. And you're going to say to yourself, what I am doing is I'm healing. And healing is mucky and ucky and gross and depressing and nasty. Healing is not, kumbaya, my lord. That is not healing. Okay? That's celebrating the end of the healing perhaps, but that is not healing. Healing is ugly. Think of that inner child that never got to cry. Okay, this is your chance to cry those tears. So cry them like a whining 5-year-old. Whine, complain, wallow. Wallow in that swimming pool with your waders on and dig it out. Dig it out, clear it out, clean it out, polish it up, repaint the bottom of your swimming pool, fill it up with joy. Fill it up with waters that you can swim in, that you would want to swim in. So visualize, do a meditation. Visualize, what does my swimming pool of emotions look like right now? Ooh, it's a little bit dirty in there. It's a little bit mucky in there. Okay, I've got more healing work to do to clear that on out so that I can transform my swimming pool and turn it into an oasis that I would like to dive into, like a nice Mexican cenote with that beautiful turquoise water, and just experience joyfulness, peace, calm, and everything else. And once you get there and dig out all of that, the end result is there's going to be forgiveness. Because you're going to forgive yourself for all the coping mechanisms that you used, and you're going to forgive others for all the crazy that they did. You're going to forgive yourself for repressing your emotions, which means you're not going to feel the need to like be scared of other people's emotions, because you're like, oh, I've met myself at like the deep end of the pool. I can hold space for you. I can hold space for you at the deep end because I've done the deep end dive, right? So the more work we do, the more space we have for ourselves in our heart space, and the more space we have for others. Yay, beautiful. So yes, the demon here, if each chakra actually has a demon too. So the demon energy, the dark energy that is grief. It's unprocessed grief. You need to grieve. I am giving you permission to grieve. There's your permission slip. Run with it. Take as long as you need to take. Maybe it's going to take a month. Maybe it's going to take 4 years. Maybe it's going to take more. And you know what? That's fine. There isn't a race to the finish line. You're doing work that others are terrified to do. So others might judge you. And that's when you go, oh, protecting myself. You think I should be over it by now? Oh, I see you haven't done much healing work because you're projecting onto me your own repression. I'm going to go take care of my needs. I'm no longer accepting other people's projections of how long it should take me to get over it. You take as long as it takes. That's how long it takes. There is no timeline for grief. It is a human experience that all of us need to experience. I've told in other videos before the story of Buddha and the woman who lost her child. And she came to Buddha and she was like, I'm in so much pain. I'm in so much grief. Please, Buddha, you need to take this away from me. You need to heal me. And he said, okay, go and find a mustard seed from any house in the village that has not experienced death. So she went. Hello, yes, I was just wondering if you happen to have a mustard seed that I could have if this household has not experienced any death. Oh, I'm really sorry. We've experienced a lot of death here. My mother died last week, in fact. I'm sorry. Oh, dear. Hello, I'm hoping that you might have a mustard seed if this house has not experienced death or loss. Oh, I'm really sorry. My husband left me and never came back. That would count as a loss, I'm pretty sure. I'm sorry. And she went until she finally got message. She got the message that no human being, there is 0 human beings on this planet that have not experienced grief. And if they haven't experienced it yet because they're young, they will. It's a part of the human condition. And so just because North American society says, oh, it's been a week, back to work, doesn't mean that you're over your grief. Other cultures, they used to be shroud in black for the rest of their lives. Or shroud in black at least for a year. I can remember when I went to Portugal when I was young and I was traveling alone as a single woman with a young child, and people used to stare at me. And I was like, why is everybody staring at me? And they're like, because you're not dressed in black, dear. And I was like, and they said, it's because they assume as a single woman that you must be a widow. And I said, oh, I'm not a widow. He just left. I see. Well, they just assume that, a single woman would be traveling with a child would be in black. And I was like, sorry. I was in like baby duck yellow or something, many cultures, other places in the world recognize the fact that grief is a part of the human condition. So high vibes only isn't, I'm happy all the time. Yay, unicorns. No. It's, I am in authenticity right now and I am grieving. My best friend left me. It hurts. My relations aren't talking to me anymore. It hurts. I am experiencing loss left, right, and center. It hurts. So grieve as much as you would shower. In fact, grieve more than you would shower. Grieve as much as you would eat. Eating is bringing things in. Grief is letting things out. It's releasing. Because if we don't grieve, the dark, shadowy element that is grief, that is loss, is wrath. Kali energy of wrath coming in, which is like, I'm going to be vindictive. I'm going to get back to them. I'm going to be a vigilante and take things into my own. They bombed me. I'm going to bomb them back. They hurt me. I'm going to hurt them back. It's tit for tat. It's an eye for an eye, and then everybody's blind, right? So we don't want to have dark energies. We want to release those dark energies through the process of grief. So today's video is a call out to anyone who's in very difficult energies in their heart space. We are being asked by Spirit to love on ourselves. No more self-loathing, self-hating, self-vengeance, no longer beating ourselves up, because even wrath can be internalized and like, you're so stupid. Why'd you do that? If we're hearing those types of words, then we're not allowing ourselves to grieve. Not allowing ourselves to embrace our inner shadows as they come out and love every single aspect of ourselves. Love our inner child. Love our abandoned child. Love our traumatized child. Love our crazy. Oh my God, people are going to think I'm crazy. And love that part of you too. Love that part of you too that's like, everything is falling apart. I'm losing my mind. That's okay if you're losing your mind. As I said, you're supposed to lose your mind on a spiritual awakening because you're supposed to gain your heart. Lose your mind to gain your heart. Lose the people to gain God. Okay? Lose and receive. Let go and receive. Practice breath work. Okay, long, slow, deep breathing. There might be different techniques that work for you. Some people like the 4-7-6 method. Some people like to count really long, slow, and then extra long exhales. I've tried them all. Play around with slow breathing techniques on YouTube and see what comes up. Place your hands on your heart as much as you possibly can. Connect into your heart space. touch yourself, rock yourself, hold yourself, soothe yourself, comfort yourself, love yourself. Love, love, love the fuck out of yourself. That really is the ultimate mission and the ultimate healing behind everything else. Anything that's happening to you in your physical body, what do I need right now? Give it to you. Give it to you. What do you need right now? And make sure you're answering from your body, from your inner child, not you're answering from your ego. Although your ego might tell you some things too. I need boundaries. Oh, you're right. I do. Okay. So we're not completely discounting our ego, but we're not letting our ego run the show. They're like the seat. Okay. I always like to look at it like I'm in a nice big bus and my highest self is driving the bus and my ego is in the passenger seat with a map saying, I think we should go this way. I think we should go that way. And we're like, it's okay. It's okay. And then I got all my children in the back, my wounded child, my abandoned child, my crazy child, okay? My ADD, ADHD child, whatever it is, that was like too hyper. Love on all aspects of yourself. There's nothing wrong with you. You were divinely made and God loves you for who you are. Idiosyncrasies and weirdnesses and wonderfulness and gifts. Some of those gifts were like, I don't want to. They feel like that. It's okay. Love, love, love yourself. So that is my video to you today, from my heart chakra to yours. If you need help, please feel free to reach out and book a one-on-one with me. My services are by donation. If you want to join the Spiritual Warrior Support Group, that's over on Facebook. If you want to join the Spiritual Warrior Support Group Zoom meetings, please join us on Wednesdays or Fridays. If you would like even just a nice response via comment, I love comments. I greatly appreciate comments. I accept all comments, as long as they're good. Says my masculine saying, ain't tolerating no bullying. No trolls. So yes, I'm accepting comments. I love your comments. I love your likes, your shares, your subscriptions, your supers. Again, thank you, and thank you. Like seriously, from the bottom of my heart, thank you to Sharon and Tracy for leaving me some supers, some donations. And with that all said, peace. Peace in.